Welcome back to Destination 101, the podcast where we uncover extraordinary journeys from within the Toastmasters community and explore how communication changes lives, not just in meetings, but in the real world. Today's episode is truly special. We have with us someone who has spent years helping people, especially quiet leaders, find their voice, step into the spotlight, and own their power as communicators. She's a keynote speaker, trainer, speaker coach, and a true advocate for those who want to speak up but don't always know how. Her workshops and coaching programs have transformed the confidence of professionals across industries, especially introverts who believed public speaking wasn't for them. Please join me in welcoming Elaine Lung, a storyteller, a mentor, and a leader in the speaking world who proves that communication isn't about volume. It's about presence, clarity, and authenticity. Elaine, we are honored to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Sneha. It's great to be here. And hello, everyone out there. Good to be here with you.
Elaine helps people, quiet leaders especially, speak up with confidence.
Mhm.
Elaine, let me start by asking you, was there a time in your life when you were not comfortable speaking, and what shifted that for you?
Mhm. Well, sure, Sneha. I'd say I never was comfortable speaking with people naturally. I wasn't the kind of, so if we go way back, right, to childhood, was not an outgoing kind of kid, but would rather be happy at home with a book and reading that instead of out with a crowd of people. So out with a crowd of kids or whatever. But I don't know. Did you have a tiger mom kind of, you know what I mean, Sneha? Did your mom kind of push you or, well, I don't know if my mom pushed me. I wouldn't say that, but she definitely encouraged me. And both my parents, my mom and my dad, supported me to try a lot of things. So I found myself trying theater and musical instruments and whatever. But I got to say, I was a bookworm, which translated to good grades. And the introvert part meant I could study. So hence, I decided to, when I was in my college years, to go for what I could do. And it was engineering. So I got a computer engineering degree. And that was pretty much without being capable to stand up and speak up in front of a group of people because I was terrified, thanks to an incident that happened in high school at a speech contest. After that happened, I swore I would never, I never needed to be in a speech contest again. And I didn't really care about to speak to groups. So I sort of just let that fear sit with me and took a different path that avoided speaking to groups. For better, for worse. So yes, to answer your question, definitely did not grow up comfortable speaking, and it took a long time. And Toastmasters was an integral part of helping me feel confident and comfortable speaking again.
Wow, that sounds like quite a journey. But Elaine,
Mhm.
many speakers struggle with visibility, putting themselves out there online, on stage, or even in meetings. So, what mindset shift helped you overcome that barrier?
Mhm. Oh, I still struggle with that, Sneha. What makes you what makes you think I've overcome it? No, it's really funny. A lot of my peers too. It's really hard to put yourself out there and market yourself when you're a speaker, and because it's you, it's the you incorporated, or the business is you. So it's tough to market yourself, I would say. Not everyone's comfortable with it. Let's go back to that where I was fearful of speaking, and let's look at that mindset shift. What happened, right? So basically, what motivates people? Do you know what motivates people? What
No.
would it be? Pain or they want to attain something, right? It's either it hurts or they want to win the gold medal, right? So they're going to go for something big. Well, it wasn't, and I didn't aspire to anything. I just wanted to get a, I wanted to get a promotion. I wanted to feel comfortable and not like scared to speak to people or to go to a network event and talk to strangers. I was just getting over that shyness, honestly. And I'm getting more confident as a professional because I was at that time in a corporation and working in the IT group and just kind of not getting recognition for my work. So when finally I joined Toastmasters, it was right after a job change. So sometimes you have that there's a time in your life where you're like ready to try anything because it was just it got to the point where I was just frustrated and not getting anywhere. And I got this job in an IT group at a nice big company with great benefit, great company, great it was a great company. And they had a Toastmaster group, and I thought, well, look at this. I had heard about Toastmasters for many years. I knew it could help people like me, but I was too scared to walk in the room alone to a Toastmasters meeting. I was too scared to even do that. But at this new company, there were people in my work group who were in the club, and they were wonderful. They got me to the first meeting, and then the rest was history because I just looked at the people in the meeting. I looked at how the meeting was run. I looked at what they were doing, and I said, I want that, and the rest is history. That's when I finally joined. And I was well into my um third decade of life at that point. So I had really put this off a long time, probably too long.
Okay. So I think that delay made you shift to Toastmasters and public speaking. There wasn't really a mindset shift of any sort. I mean, it was more destiny driven, I would say.
Um, Let me think, Sneha. It was like something's not working. I hear Toastmasters can help. I'm at a new job. I'd like to keep this job. Let's try Toastmasters. It was more of a desperation. And then once I got into the meeting, like I said, the people in my group were great. My work group, they were great, the Toastmasters in my group. And then in the meeting itself, the people who were in the Toastmasters club themselves were great. I wanted to be with them. I wanted to learn from them. I wanted to network with them. It was uh, wow, it was like a secret, wasn't a secret. It was a way to network through the whole company without you having without using my job. My job was kind of sit at the desk and support things, right? It was not, and I had a sphere of influence in several departments around my department, but when you're in Toastmasters, I was talking to people all across the whole company, whoever joined Toastmasters. So you had, finance, marketing, engineering, IT, which is where I was, and even maintenance and facilities people. So, and test floor, everything. It was a silicon, it's a semiconductor company in Silicon Valley. So, all those departments. So it was very great to have friends from all over because they could help me get things done when things needed to be done enterprise wide. Um, and also at the parties, the Christmas parties, the holiday parties, company wide picnics, I would always be able to walk in and have friends. Even in the cafeteria, I have friends, and my work group was like, "How do you know all these people?" I'm a Toastmasters. They're like, "Oh, yeah, Toastmasters." So it's not for everyone, but it really fit the bill for me at that time because when I started to achieve in Toastmasters, um, hey, it wasn't a straight line to the top, okay? It wasn't like, boom, I'm in and wow, I'm fixed. It's all great. It was there were ups and downs, shall we say? But what happened is the more I did in Toastmasters, it gave me opportunities to lead, to develop my speaking, to develop my capacity to handle, to work with people and groups. And then that's, of course, spread to everything else I was in, my personal life and in my work life. And I started to get assignments where I was speaking more and doing more leadership. So it helped me to shine in a way that I wasn't getting through work. It was just a wonderful opportunity for me, and I'm so grateful that I was able to take advantage of it at that time.
So it was a gradual and consistent shift for you.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah, like anything. I think it took a year and a half to do my first 10 speeches at the time, because you're working and it's a different mindset when you're in corporate, I thought. But
Yes, I get the drift.
it's
Yes.
great fun the whole time.
Elaine, many Toastmasters dream of becoming paid keynote speakers.
Mhm.
What are the actual pathways to converting experience, contests, club roles, workshops, corporate training into paid keynote opportunities?
Mhm. Wow, what a great question, Sneha. Can I say it's probably different for everyone? The best thing to do is like be like Danica Patrick and win the first be the first Formula One women's racer, or be like Mary Lou Retton and win a gold medal. Best thing to do is like do something like climb Mount Everest, and then you can get hired to talk about it. So that's probably the easiest way. And then you can take your Toastmaster skills, get a little coaching, hire someone to market you, get in a speaker's bureau, and boom, you're done.
Are you serious?
It's it's different for everyone. It's really different for everyone. Um, I would, if you're a Toastmaster and you're looking to go from fee to, I'm sorry, free to fee with your speaking, you have a great foundation in Toastmasters, a great place to test your material in Toastmasters. And there's other associations and organizations out there that will help you develop the skills you need to be a professional. Absolutely a mindset shift because it's no longer Toastmasters is a hobby. I would say it's fun, it's a hobby, but when you're a professional, it's all about business and making money if you want to stay in business. So you need to do things that make money and to get training on that. For example, I joined the National Speakers Association in the United States here. I'm based in California. And there's a Northern California chapter. I volunteered for them. I took what's called their Speakers Academy, and I started networking with people in the San Francisco Bay Area here, where I'm located in California. And you build up a network of friends and people who support you, and you find your niche. Do you know what that means?
Yes, the area that of your expertise, the unique area of your expertise. Yeah,
Correct.
right.
And that's very difficult, Sneha, because in Toastmasters, you speak about whatever you want, but if you want to get hired, you need to speak about what the audiences want and what they will pay you for. So you need to know what problems you solve and get them to hire you to solve those problems. So it's a different way of approaching the speaking. And ideally, you want to find something you enjoy talking about, a problem that you solve, that you have expertise about, and you enjoy talking about. And then you solve that problem for the people that are hiring you, who are hiring you. So it's a long road. Like I said, a celebrity is the fastest way. Although, let's face it, if you're an Olympian, you've trained your whole life to get there. You've trained your whole life to get there. It's not a short road either. But I would say if you're in Toastmasters and you have a corporate job and you're enjoying it and it's, paying the bills, don't quit your day job. Join something like National Speakers Association and start asking around and identify speakers that you aspire to be like and go talk to them about how they did it. And everyone's path is different because people's goals are different. Do you want to travel all over the world? Do you not want to travel all over the world? Do you want to work full time, part time? Do you want to work for corporations? Do you want to work for schools? Do you want to work for, colleges? It's hospitals. You niche down to have a very specific audience you want to talk to, and then you know that by experience. So if you want to speak, be a paid speaker, get out there and speak till you figure out what problem you solve and who your ideal audience is, and then you can market to them. So if you still want to do it, if you want to do it. Um, I mean, writing the speech is actually probably the easiest part. But my niche is, I would tell you, it's who I was. My ideal audience is speaking to myself who I was 20 years ago. So someone in corporate um, wants to move up, is ambitious, and is terrified of speaking or unskilled at speaking or doesn't know how to be a leader. and also terrified of making a mistake because I have an engineering background. So you have to be very precise and analytical, and you don't just say things in engineering. You need to think it through before you open your mouth, right? Or people could die, right? The bridge could fall apart. The
Yes.
software could go awry.
Huh.
So you have to, so that was what I was battling, and I was afraid to speak up. So, long story short, I took improvisational theater classes, and because it terrified me, and it was terrifyingly fun. So now I combine the presentation skills that I'm so proud of and happy to have learned and honed my skills on for so long, and combining it with improvisational theater skills so people can speak up on a moment's notice and be able to handle all those situations that I let go in my past. Now I can handle it. So that's the kind of information I wanted to pass on to people and solve that problem.
Well, that's
And those are the audiences I have the most fun with too. So that's kind of the recipe for my success.
wow. So combining keynote speaking skills with theater skills and all of that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would say I have like I do what you would call a keynote, which is less keynotes are more high level ideas, less interaction, but I gotta say my keynotes are a little more interactive. So I tend to be more like a workshop when I do keynotes, more interactive, and I think I have more fun too, and the audience has more fun. Or we even just do a lot of improv games together, and then we do a debrief. We talk about how those skills apply to Toastmasters, for example, how those skills apply to speaking at work, for example. And I'm also in the Applied Improvisation Network, which is about applying improv skills to life. And my sweet spot would be presentations, for example. They apply it to all kinds of parts of the any kind of nursing, business, um, colleges, dementia patients, right? And you name it. They apply improv to everything. So my sweet spot again is very narrow. It's the presentation skills part. So if you want to speak about something, you get paid for it. What problem do you solve? Who will pay you? And that's a great place to start.
All right. Elaine, professional keynote speakers often have a signature story that becomes their identity.
Hmm.
So, how does a speaker recognize and refine the story that positions them
Hmm.
uniquely in the speaking industry?
Oh, that's a great question. Uh, and that was what you would speak about. So how did I got to this point by going through a lot of coaching and training above and beyond Toastmasters. So after about, I'm trying to think how long I was in Toastmasters. Oh my. Okay, 10 years because it was in corporate. I had a full-time job. And my participation with Toastmasters ebbed and flowed as life did through those 10 years. And then my job ended and I thought I want to go out and do this, and make money at it. That's what I said. So I started to take more coaching, more classes, got involved with the associations. And then thanks to that, I found my signature story. However, which was pretty early on, I would say. However, I kind of rejected it. I said, no, really, that's my signature story. My signature story started out as a coaching session from someone named Judy Carter, who wrote the Comedy Bible, one of the first ones. And my coach, Darren LaCroix, had her come and do a workshop. So long story short, she has me up on stage and she's asking me questions, and we're niching into like what I would speak about, getting down. And I started to talk about my first table topic and how it changed my life. Really, they're like, why do you want to speak? What do you want to speak about? This is at the point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to speak about. I just want to speak. I want to just speak to people. Who do you want to speak to? People. It was like, I didn't know what was going on. So she's asking me questions very nicely, by the way. And we're in this comedy club in Las Vegas taking the class. So I'm on a little stage and everyone's looking at me in the class, 20 people or so. And she's like, I told her a story about my first table topic, how it changed my life, how I was basically there was a negative voice telling me to sit down and shut up. And I said, you just sit here. I got to go to the front of the room and do something. So I went up and I gave the table topic and people clapped and I was like, wow, these are my people, you know? And I sat down and my life was changed from then on because that fear that I had before from that high school speech contest that went so badly, that was my first step to overcome it. And I just want to say I was crying. Judy Carter made me cry in front of everyone. And I was like, and then she's like, I think that's it. That's your story. And I was like, that can't be it. That can't be. Right. So long story short, I spoke about a lot of things for many years after that, but now I'm back to it. Why? It's congruent with me, who I am, and my credibility. And when I speak about it, that's where I connect best because the audience feels that. So you need someone else who's very experienced and to help you find that. And because you're like a fish in water, as they say, you just can't see it. You're too close to it. But once you get that other perspective from good coaches who care about you and want you to succeed, that's what makes the difference. There's many people out there who'd be happy to take your money. You have to be very careful. Find someone who honestly will help you and be there for your success. But it takes time and effort to figure this out.
That's true. That's true. Wonderful. Um, Elaine, for speakers wanting to formalize their profile, what must absolutely be part of a speaker's portfolio? Website, media kit, video reel, testimonials, and what can
Mhm.
beginners do even if they don't have everything yet?
Get out there and speak, number one. Go out and speak to everyone. Speak all over Toastmasters. Go to other districts and speak there. Go to Rotary. Go to their other service. Anyway, Rotary is a service club. They always need speakers. Go speak there. Go to these other service clubs around that speak. I've spoken at many Rotary um, meetings, and you'll see what a non-Toastmasters audience feels different. They, when it's the meeting's over, they're gone. They get up and leave. They really don't care about you as a speaker. They're like, "What are you speaking about?" Okay, fine. And they'll sit there and listen to you, but you will get tested and it's a different audience. They don't clap for everything. Um, I spoke at a women's group I've spoken to a couple women's groups. Engineering, they have like technical groups at companies. You can speak there for your niche, your audience. Just get out there and speak wherever and whenever you can, and figure out what what problem you solve, honestly. And then what audience is your sweet spot, and then you can start marketing to them. That's what I would say. And but you got to start somewhere. So like one of the districts I'm in has a speakers bureau, and you can at least like get there and put your name out there. The Toastmasters District 57 has a speakers bureau. So, you can at least get out there and start and then you just have to keep refining it. So I would join an association of professional speakers, go to their speakers academy, like NSA, National Speakers Association, very good program. And just put in the work, put in the reps, and figure out what you like to speak about, what problem you solve, who will pay, and you can go after it that way. So I guess in a very roundabout way, I'm saying start with a speech, have something to speak about that is of interest to your audience, and then surround yourself with people who can help you hone it and refine it into a message that people will pay for.
Wonderful. That was great help, Elaine.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Uh, many
Are you going to be a
Toastmasters.
professional speaker? I'm just wondering. You
I,
said that you were considering it, I think.
I am considering it, yes.
Excellent.
That's why I'm
Hmm.
very listening very intently to whatever suggestions you're saying.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ilan, many Toastmasters can deliver great speeches, but a keynote has a very different goal. It is a
Hmm.
message that defines the speaker. That's what you also mentioned about
Hmm.
finding your niche.
Correct.
But how to identify that core keynote message, the idea that becomes the center of their personal brand as a speaker?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, you have that message, and the keynote is essentially something you write that's unique to you. So in my keynote, I'm going to tell that story about the bad high school experience, the good, changing it around, how that impacted me in my corporate world for the better, and using improv to how the improv skills were applied to overcome the problems and how you can too. And then there's some exercises in there getting the audience up and involved because that's great. So I mean, there's a framework, and a keynote is about 50 minutes long. It's modular, so you can plug things in or take them out because I don't in Toastmasters you get 5 to 7 minutes, right?
Yes.
But and you're pretty guaranteed if you're on the agenda, you're going to get that. But I'm telling you, I went to a Rotary speech where the speaker, I was helping another speaker. So this is where I saw it. I'm not going to say the name of the meeting, but he was ready to go. He had 30 solid minutes, funny. He was doing magic tricks, and it was a keynote that he was doing. Long story short, they had the exchange student from Norway was in town. So let's get her up. Let's have her speak. Yay. So there was 10 minutes of his time gone, you know, and then they had to reintroduce him. So he had like, I don't know, 16, 17 minutes, which to maybe even 15 minutes to, to give his 30-minute. He's not being paid. So what he had to do is, use the introduction and the end, and then maybe one chunk of material because you can get a good point across in about 10 minutes. So there's many formulas out there for building keynotes. I happen to be, like I said, working with Darren LaCroix, who's also working with Patricia Fripp, and she has the model, Fripp model of speaking. And basically, if you're a Toastmaster and you developed a 5 to 7 minute chunk of material, that, you would, that would be, you can expand that out to about 10 minutes. And so if you have like maybe 5 minutes for the intro, 5 minutes for the conclusion, and then you just chunk the rest of your material in there. And then if your time gets cut, you can drop out a chunk. And or if it gets expanded, you can drop in another chunk. So you can be modular, but you're doing all this kind of work behind the scenes. So you're ready to go when you're called up. And if your time gets cut, you ask them, do you want me to do my entire speech, or do you want me to keep us on time? And the meeting planner will usually say, keep us on time, so you still get your full fee, but you deliver less material. So this is the kind of thing that's happening behind the scenes, and you learn this by working with people who've done it and who are teaching you. So the keynote, and then there's ways to customize the keynote even more with some humor and jokes that connect to them up front, because you really want to connect to the audience more than anything else. Show them that you're there for them and make them feel like you did the speech just for them. So, and being funny makes you money. So there's a lot that goes into a keynote, and not all of us are, like I said, Mary Lou Retton or Danica Patrick, where we just walk in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, tell us," and you could just drop some stories and be. I'm not saying they're bad speakers at all. What I'm saying is that average Joes like me, average people like me, average Janes, whatever, we have to work a lot harder to market ourselves to be someone of interest and demonstrate that we have value and a problem that we can solve that is worth hiring us for. So um, it's a lot to learn. I think it's fascinating. I think it's fun. And by all means learn it. You don't have to go out and do a keynote speech. I don't do that many. I do more workshops and I love it. But I use the ideas that I've learned in the keynote speech and keynote speaking. Because, okay, so keynote speaking is a high level idea. You're just kind of telling stories and introducing the ideas from a very high level. And a workshop is more as a step down where you're getting more hands-on, more detailed, more exercises that solve problems. And I don't know why. You're making me think why. Maybe it's because got that engineering background. It's kind of in my nature. I like that. So I like that better. And I like the interaction with the audience more. So um, perhaps that's why. But I enjoy more like a workshop. And I also teach. I teach classes of public speaking right now to kids. And yeah, if you want to entertain and educate, teach kids. If you want to be able to test your improv skills to the max, teach kids. They are unfiltered and got to be ready for anything. So I've really enjoyed teaching too.
So you like that interactive part of teaching and not the keynote style, which is one-sided, mainly one-sided kind of teaching delivery.
Well, yeah, Keynote. So I would say a keynote is more high level and you're on a stage by yourself. You're sort of the star, you're the expert. And your job is to tell stories, engage them, and help them see that you're similar, not special, that they could take the steps that you're taking. And I think I love getting people up there and saying, let's try it, let's play. And that's more of a workshop type of thing. So if you had me for a keynote, it would look less like a standard keynote and more like a workshop. But we can, we can make it less interactive too. So that's the beauty of it. Once you have your material and your exercises and your ideas and your stories, and you've honed them and been coached on them, then you can uh, modify them and customize as whatever the client needs.
Okay. Elaine, I think you've already answered this question, but just in one or two lines, if you could explain us for Toastmasters who want to move from club speaking to keynote speaking or professional speaking, let's just say
Mhm.
professional speaking, where should they begin and what steps build a speaker's profile? In brief, if you could say that.
Yeah, join National Speakers Association. Join if an association of your expertise. So you can, that would what you would talk about, right? So they have chapters, they have conventions. That's probably where you would go speak. And then figure out what your niche is. And then, like I said, who will hire, what problem you solve. And then you can start working on who's going to pay you and how to go get hired.
Okay.
That two lines?
Yes, yes. That's very precise. Thank you. Uh,
hmm
Elaine, what is one skill Toastmasters often overlook, but mastering it can dramatically elevate their speaking impact?
hmm I think it's speech evaluation.
Oh,
I think, well, we have the speech evaluation contest, right?
yes.
And yet I didn't realize what a great value speech evaluation was. It was easy for me. That was my easiest category because I'm analytical, I'm introverted, I'm watching, I'm listening, right? And then so it's easy to that comes easier for me than say like impromptu speaking by far. So the beauty of a speech evaluation is if a club does that well, people will come back because they see the value in being getting that feedback. And also for someone who's analytical and likes improv, I- that's a speech evaluation, right? I mean, you have the format, right? You know what you're there to do, but you're listening and you're observing, and then you're putting a speech together on the fly and performing it. So that's improvisation. And so I think it's undervalued because that was the one. Of course, we go there to learn to be leaders and we learn to speak up and put a speech together. But um, I had one guy at my last the corporation I was working at, and he told me this. I love it. He said, "Of all the skills I've learned at Toastmasters, evaluation is the most powerful or the most important to me because I'm leading a group and I have to give them feedback." So something good, the sandwich technique or whatever format, just getting the ability to formulate feedback and tell someone that to their face in a conversation that he felt was highly valuable, which that opened my eyes. And then the more I've done it, I agree. I think speech evaluation, you said overlooked, right, Sneha?
Yes.
You said overlooked,
Overlooked.
undervalued.
Undervalued.
Speech evaluation is my pick for that.
Oh, great. I never had that perspective. All right, Ilan, if you had to give one piece of advice to a new Toastmaster, a
Mhm.
mid-level member trying to get better, and a seasoned competitor, would it be the same or different?
Advice on speaking or what
In
exactly?
general, to a Toastmaster.
on a
200.
Toastmaster to a Toastmaster?
Yes.
Okay, so what was it again? It was a beginner, a medium, and
Middle level
a
member.
seasoned.
Yeah. A middle level member trying to get better and a seasoned competitor.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
The easiest answer is don't quit. Don't quit Toastmasters. If you need to take a break, but come back and just invest your time and your energy in it because what you put into it is what you get out of it. You need to take the time and get involved and volunteer for roles and that challenge you, speeches that challenge you, officer roles that challenge you, and then go outside your club. So I would say continue to stay involved and get the most out of the program you can.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Elaine. Thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing such powerful
Mhm.
insights with us today, Elaine. And what I
My
personally
pleasure.
loved What I personally loved is how you showed us that speaking isn't about performance. It's about connection, joining different
Mhm.
associations. It's about courage and choosing to be heard.
Mhm.
So, to everyone listening, whether you are a brand new Toastmaster or preparing for your next competition or keynote, this episode is a reminder that your story matters, your voice matters, and confidence is a skill that can be built. If today's conversation inspired you, please share it with someone who needs reassurance that they can become a strong communicator, regardless of personality, background, or volume. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Len.
Thank you, Sneha.